Okay, I'm going to start wrenching this engine back together. And the first thing I'm going to do is put on this drive disc. That'll act as a little stand so I can get everything else. So where does this go? Well, here's the old crankshaft. And you can see a mark right there. So you measure from here to here and from here to here. And that's where the new one should go, or that should go on the new engine. So that's the first thing I'm going to measure up. Now I'm not going to bore you with every nut and bolt that I put in here, just like major progress. All right, we're kind of at a mile mark here. Got the valve cover breather back on. Obviously have the drive disc back on, hopefully set close if not exact. And I got the flywheel on. And that also underneath the flywheel is the magneto that will be used to charge the battery. So you can see there's a valve that's open. And if you turn this, well, I don't know if I can do this actually now. As this turns, it'll close. So we are working. Okay, next thing I'm working on is what's called the head, which is this thing. And it sits over the piston. And it's critical that this mating surface and this mating surface be almost hospital clean, because what goes between them is this, which is the head gasket. And if you ever had a car with a blown head gasket, it looks similar to this except bigger because there's more cylinders, but it's got to be in there correct with the right torque, and if not, no fire. Okay, I'm at the end of day one here. So have the head bolted on, have the intake manifold bolted on, have, like I said, the magneto, got the starter. That was easy, and the flywheel, of course. Next, we need to, gonna have to do some out there repair. This is the exhaust port, and this is the muffler. And this is a Briggs muffler and a Tecumseh engine. And it's pretty loose. So I've got an idea. I have no idea if it will work, but that is for tomorrow. All right, the next thing I have to do is get the carburetor cleaned and back on. It wasn't that bad, but I'm not going to go through all this work not to do it. Now, Tecumseh carburetors are notoriously finicky. And that's one of the reasons is that they have what they call a fixed jet. In other words, they're not adjustable. This is what they call the main jet. That's what does the metering of the fuel and then the mixing of the air. And then the emulsion tube. And then just the little tiny pilot jet, all of which are non-adjustable. So the smallest piece of garbage in any of these passages, and there's a lot of passages, will make it run really poorly. There's some right there. So this has got to be cleaned up, which it just about is, and then put back together, and we'll get it on the engine. Okay, so this is looking, more and more like an engine. Got the coil back on, carburetors back on, linkage, all of that good stuff. And the one last thing is the exhaust. Now, like I alluded to before, this is a Tecumseh engine, and it's a Briggs, old Briggs exhaust system. And this fits in here pretty loose. Not really tight enough, because this is a straight pipe and this is threaded, and it's expecting a Tecumseh exhaust which doesn't exist anymore. And you can see what happened on the old engine. It got in there and it just wallowed out everything back and forth, right, and it actually broke out this piece here. Now, does that mean the engine won't run? No, the engine will run. Doesn't need a muffler. But you also don't want hot exhaust gases coming at your back because the seat's right here. And also, I don't want this thing to get damaged. So I thought I could do it with this homemade device. I bought this and it was too big. So I thought, well, if I cut out a chunk of it here, which I did, and I crimped it down and I got it in there. And that was a great plan, except the pipe won't fit inside here anymore once this is in. So I've got to come up with a plan B. Unfortunately, I've got time. It is now just cold and rainy, but there's no grass growing and there's no hurry. So I think I have another month to solve this. Once I do, I'll turn you back on.